non-parametric test, and then how to run these 3 tests, okay, using SPSS. Okay. The non-parametric test, okay, this particular group of tests require fewer assumptions. Some book call it assumptions-free test. Okay, you need to mean that you don't have to check the normality assumptions or the distribution. You don't need to check the equivalences of this test, of this data. They are assumption-free. But of course, they only valid. They can only be used for a certain condition, certain situation. Okay. Often called distribution-free because you don't need to check the distribution, whether they are normal or not. Okay. Of course, if they are skewed, you can straight away use non-parametric test. Okay. Non-parametric also sometimes the only way for you to analyze ordinal data. Okay. Ordinal data like Likert scale. Likert scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whether they are discrete number, well, 1, 2, 3, 5, but they are actually ordinal data. Ordinal data, so they can you may or may not able to check the distribution based on this Likert scale on ordinal data. So you can use non-parametric test when you handle ordinal data like Likert scale. Sometimes may or sometimes not, depends. Okay. All the data that cannot be easily transformed. Okay. Remember, sometimes in many clinical or basic sciences study, biological studies, whether human or animal studies, sometimes when you have the data, biological data, okay, for the ease of use, you want to use parametric test, okay, like t-test and ANOVA because they are better, analysis, okay, but because the data may function to be a little bit skewed, so you need to transform first the data. Sometimes because some researchers, they want to use the ANOVA or t-test, they need to transform skewedly data. So when they transform this skewed data into become a little bit normally distributed, okay, they can now use parametric test. But in a certain condition, even though after they transform, okay, the data looks skewed. So they have to use non-parametric test, okay, instead, because the data cannot be easily transformed. Now, most of the time, okay, I can tell you now, we try our best to use parametric test because they are better representative. You have mean and SD, and then it's more meaningful for interpretation, and it can do some arithmetic based on the mean SD. Okay, so that's why to avoid if you plan to do parametric test, so you need to go for a little bit bigger data, like 30 and above, and make sure the data don't have skewed. Get the random sample, because if you do random sampling, you may end up with a better normally distributed data. Okay, but in certain conditions, sometimes in some research, maybe your research involve animal study. In animal study, you may end up with 6 mouse or 10 mice only. Okay, not many, 12 only. So not many. So this, if they has a small sample identity, you must check the distribution first. If the distribution is not normal skewed, so you don't have any where you have to do non-parametric test as well. Okay, because your data is small. And when you check the normal distribution, it's still skewed, so you go for non-parametric test. Now, of course, you must know that there's disadvantages of non-parametric test because they are less flexible, less powerful. They may increase to error, and they actually in terms of how the algorithm of the test, how they come up with p-value, the analysis. Underlying this non-parametric test, they use ranks. They get the values, they rank the value first, and they comparing, or they based on this analysis based on rank. It's not that good, not that powerful, and not that interpretable or not meaningful like parametric test. But still, sometimes in certain conditions, you have to use also non-parametric as well. So try your best to use parametric test. So by having a good, adequate sample, 30 or more per group, and then if this skewed, so try to use a transformation. Okay, again, like I told you, actually this particular non-parametric test, okay, in parametric test, we use mean and SD to represent your sample. In non-parametric test, because they are skewed, you cannot use mean. You need to use medians and IQR, interquartile range, to represent the data. So we use Mann-Whitney when your research question similar to what we want to do for the independent t-test. Wilkinson sign rank for t-test, Kruskal-Wallis for one-way ANOVA, and also another one, the one I put in red is something that we're not going to learn at this moment. One-way repeated means ANOVA for parametric test, for non-parametric Friedman test. Okay, I hope you can learn this some other time. Okay, Mann-Whitney also called Wilkinson rank sum. Okay, so these three tests we're going to learn. These three tests. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, if you check your SPSS, this non-parametric test appear here. They not appear under the compare means. Parametric test, they under the compare means group. In non-parametric test, when you want to get the test, you have to click analyze, go to the non-parametric test, go to the legacy dialog, and these are the list of non-parametric tests. Okay? So these are the list of non-parametric that you're going to learn. Okay, first, Mann-Whitney test. Okay, Mann-Whitney test. Okay, Mann-Whitney test also known as Mann-Whitney U test. Mann-Whitney U test. Sorry, not test U test. Mann-Whitney U test. Mann-Whitney U test, and some books or in some software, they also being known as Wilkinson rank sum test. And maybe in some textbook they call it Wilkinson Mann-Whitney test, because actually they are the developers, Wilkinson and so Mann-Whitney group. Okay, so again, you must know that this Mann-Whitney test or Wilkinson rank sum test, they are alternative to the independent t-test when you have violation in the normality distribution. Okay, when you have small data and this data violated your normality assumptions, rather than use independent t-test, you use Mann-Whitney test. Okay, so what are the research questions again? When you want to compare the distribution, when you want to compare two groups of their distribution, you don't know. You can compare means, median, you're not sure yet. But you have two groups now. You have two independent groups. You want to compare this group between their central tendencies, between their distribution. Are they differ or not? These two groups. Okay? So you're not sure whether you can compare means or medians. Depends. If they are non-distributed, you can compare using their mean using independent t-test. If they are not non-distributed, they are badly skewed, you're going to compare their medians, but use Mann-Whitney U test. Okay? So this test, preferably you use when you are dealing with small sample and when you're not able to get the normality assumption, or when your normality assumption is violated. Okay, you use this test. Okay. So again, you must know now when you do research, check your research question, check your research objective, and then the research hypothesis. If your objective involves, says that you want to compare two group means, or you want to compare two means between two independent groups. Okay, so next check whether your sample size is big or not. If the sample size is small in either group, you have two groups. In either group, let's say one group less than 30 or two group, both group less than 30, they check the distribution whether they are normal or not. If they are normal, even though they are small, you still can use independent t-test. But if you have these two groups, because they are small, you check the distribution. How you check distribution? You do histogram, box plot, or you do normality test, Kolmogorov-Smirnov, or you use Shapiro-Wilk test. I hope you have done that. Okay, and they found that they are not normally distributed. They are badly skewed. So you have to do. The alternatives non-parametric test, which is now Mann-Whitney test. Okay, let's say this example. Of course, you have this data inside your e-learning. You can type later. I have this particular study. Let's say two groups. One a treatment group, new treatment, and then standard treatment. And in each treatment, you only have 20 patients each. So 20 patients each, so means that's smaller than 30. So because they are smaller than 30, and you are going to measure the plasma globulin fraction. So you are dealing with numerical variables, small data, less than 30. Check the normality assumptions. Okay, check the normality assumptions first. Okay, of course, you need to get this null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So see how I write down the alternative for the research question. Okay, no. So how to check the normality assumption? How to check the normality assumption? Okay, because remember you need to check because your sample size is less than 30. So explore, okay, click analyze, explore, dependent list, put your variables, factor list, put the drug or the factor or the group, and ask for plots. That's good enough. Ask for plots. For plot, you ask for the disable the stem and leaf. Okay, ask for box plot and the histogram, and also ask for the normality plot with test. Ask for also normality plot with test. So there are three. You have two diagrams and one normality test for you to check the normality assumption for these groups, these two groups. Okay. Perhaps you can also now interpret the normality test. In the output, check the normality test. You have normality test, Kolmogorov-Smirnov, and Shapiro-Wilk. I'm referring to Shapiro-Wilk because the sample size is small. Okay. If you want to use Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, also can. Okay. If I see this one, I can check that the p-value for the Shapiro-Wilk, for the group A, the p-value is not significant. Okay. In the normality test, if the p-value is not significant, mean that they are normal. The distribution is approximately normal. However, if the p-value is significant, mean that less than 0.05, mean that the distribution is not normal or distribution is skewed. That's how you interpret. So at this particular interpretation using the normality test, one group is normal, one group is not normal or skewed. Remember, I tell you, like t-test or Mann-Whitney, both groups must be normally distributed. Only then you can use independent t-test or t-test. Okay. If one of the group is not normal or skewed, you cannot use t-test anymore. You have to use non-parametric test. So in this our example, one group is not normal, so most likely you're going to end up using non-parametric test for this question. Mann-Whitney test. Okay. Again, you also can check your box plot and histogram. See the box plot for histogram for the distribution for group A should be okay because they are centrally located, dispersed between left and right. Okay, look like bell shape, but not for the group B. You see group B skewed to the left. In the box plot, only one half, dispersed to the right, not to the left. So one group skewed, one group okay. So cannot use t-test. You have to use non-parametric test, which is the Mann-Whitney test here. Okay, now, so again, check your assumption. Numerical data, random sample, the two groups are independent. Okay, remember, it's a question. They are independent group. But because the normality assumption is not met by the tape, because they are skewed, or one of the group is skewed, so you cannot use t-test. Use Mann-Whitney. So click Mann-Whitney when you want to perform your access. Now you have to use Mann-Whitney lah. So go for analyze, non-parametric test, legacy dialog, go for the Mann-Whitney. Is not right that clear. In SSS, you have to look for the two independent sample. So two independent sample for non-parametric test is the Mann-Whitney test. So two independent sample test. Okay. Click the test variable. Click the grouping variable. Like t-test, you have to define the two groups and click the Mann-Whitney. Okay. Click the test variable. Click define the group. Okay, define the group. Put the coding 1 and 2. Click then click the test type Mann-Whitney. Don't click others. Click Mann-Whitney and then click option for descriptive statistic. Okay, try to do that. And then see the output. So you have this descriptive statistic. That means you may or may not use. Because remember, your mean is not representative anymore because they're skewed. One group is not normal, so you cannot use mean. You have to use median. But don't interpret this one. Go to the test statistic. See the p-value for the Mann-Whitney test. P-value for Mann-Whitney test, you use the two-tail p-value. Two-tail p-value. Okay, check the p-value is 0.055, mean that they are less than 0.05, mean that they are significant. The p-value is significant now. You reject the null hypothesis. You reject the null hypothesis means that you need to accept the alternative hypothesis and says that there is statistical difference of global fraction between group A and B. Or you can say that the global fraction of A significantly differ to B, because that's how you interpret your hypothesis, or you do your statistical decision on your hypothesis statement. What to present? Okay, now remember, because your data is skewed, you need to get the median and the IQR, interquartile range. For skewed data, because remember you have to check the just now you check already the histogram, you check the box plot, normality test, one group skewed, so you need to present actually both group lah. Get the both for the median and IQR to represent your data by click analyze, descriptive, click explore, ask for descriptive, and click statistics. Okay, click the dependent list here, vector list drag, and click statistic now to get this data. So get the median and interquartile range for the group A, and get the median and interquartile range for the group B. This one for your tabulation later lah, for your data display. So get this means, and then run, and then this how you interpret or tabulate your result. Mean and IQR, Z statistic, just now you can get the Z statistic, and then p-value. Remember this p-value come from the Mann-Whitney test. Okay, come from Mann-Whitney test because they are small data and one of the group is skewed or not normal. So this is how you write in your text. Okay, so these are how you use Mann-Whitney test. It is how you display your Mann-Whitney test result. Okay, Let's go for the second test, Wilkerson sign rank test. Wilkerson sign rank test. Wilkerson sign rank test, also known as Wilkerson PET sign rank test, is an analog or alternative to the PET sample t-test or PET sample t-test. Or PET t-test lah. Analog to PET t-test. Again, you use this one when you have similar research question to the PET t-test, mean that you want to compare two means, but the means come from the dependent group or PET group. But because the data is small and skewed, so you need to do, or you need to have the non-parametric test. Now you need to get the Wilkerson sign rank test, or comparing between two dependent groups, or comparing between two PET groups. So let's say I have this example. Okay, click the, again, how you check your distribution, normal distribution. For PET group, you need to get first the differences and check the normality of the differences, not normality of the group, before and after. Get the differences first, get the value of the differences, and then see the distribution. Okay, how to do that? Okay, go. You may use this data set for you to practice. Okay, this is hypothesis. Okay, check the normality assumption for the PET differences. How to get the PET differences? Click compute. Write down the target variable. Okay, depend. It's up to you how you going to write that. But make sure it's no space. You can write with difference or just difference is okay. And to get the difference, just minus either one, before to after or after to before, doesn't matter. And you're going to create actually this new, you see the name similar to what you have put that in your target variable. You get this, with differences, values. Then check the normal distribution of this differences value. How to get that? Again, you can use histogram or box plot, or you can use normality test. For this example, because only one group, I use a histogram and ask for the display normal curve, and see the histogram also appears skewed to the left. So for sure, you cannot use PET t-test. You have to use Wilkerson sign rank test to answer your research question. Okay, how to run the Wilkerson sign rank test? Again, go for the analyze, click non-parametric test, legacy dialog, and now click two related sample. Just now, with Mel Whitney, you click two independent sample. But for the Wilkerson sign rank, because they are dependent group, PET group, you click two related sample. Click that, and then put the two pre-post variables, the two pre and post variable, or the two PET variable that you're going to analyze. Click Wilkerson for your test, and then click OK. And remember, don't interpret the ranks. Go for the test statistic and see the test statistic. The P is 0.059, mean that they are the P value is more than 0.05. Mean they are the P value is not significant. The P value is not significant. If not significant, you do not reject the null hypothesis. Mean that there is no difference in weight before and after diet therapy. This is how you conclude your research objective or research hypothesis. Okay, because the P value is not significant, so you do not reject the null hypothesis. If you do not reject the null hypothesis, means that you have to accept the null hypothesis. There is no difference actually. P value significant, no different. Yes. You have to display similar like before. Run the explore, get the mean value, median, and also the IQR value for you to tabulate your that result later. And then this how you get the display your result. median IQR before and after, put the Z statistic and then p-value. Remember, this p-value based on the Wilkinson sign rank test because they are pre-post related or back data. Okay. Now, the third test that we're going to learn is Kruskal-Wallis. Kruskal-Wallis is the alternative for the one-way ANOVA. Alternative for one-way ANOVA, and of course, because they are this test is a non-parametric test, means that your groups, even though they are independent, each group may be small, and any of the group may be small, and any or two or more group, or all group, whether either they are small, data 30, with skewed data. If they are small but they are normative detailed, all of it is okay. You can use one-way ANOVA. But if they are small, data 30, but not only small, they are also skewed, so you cannot use one-way ANOVA. You can use Kruskal-Wallis. Okay, and you can use this example for you to test. Okay, so you see, like independent t-test or like one-way ANOVA, your groups are also independent. They are not related. They are not people. They are they are independent groups, 3 groups. So you run, get the null hypothesis clear. Okay, at least one of the group had different experience score to another group, and then explore data. So because the data is small, you see the data 876 small. Check the distribution first. Do histogram and see. The histogram to me is either they are not, doesn't show any distribution, just a flat, a bar. Group A skewed to the left, group B little bit also skewed to the left with no, doesn't look a normal curve or doesn't look, like a normal distribution. So for sure, in this situation, you have to use non-parametric test, which is Kruskal-Wallis, because you have 3 groups, 3 independent groups to compare. To get the median IQR, first of all, yes, you can do it earlier, because you know they are skewed. So get the median IQR, first of all, for you to prepare for your display later. And then how to run Kruskal-Wallis? Click, analyze, go for non-parametric test, go for the K independent sample. K independent sample. So 2 independent sample for the Mann-Whitney, K independent sample for the Kruskal-Wallis. Okay? Click get the test variable, the satisfaction score. Click the grouping variable. Now, for the grouping variable, they ask you define the range, not define the groups. Define the range, because they want to know how many groups are there. So you click define range, check how many groups you have. You have 3 groups. So the range will be from 1 to 3. So minimum 1, maximum 3, because 3 groups. Define the group, click the test, Kruskal-Wallis there. Okay, click define range, you get here 1 and 3 because the 3 maximum 3 group. Click test type, Kruskal-Wallis. And then don't read the rank table, read the test statistic. You see the p-value, the acceptability value. Okay, the Kruskal there, p-value is small. Okay. Sorry. The p-value is small, 0.01. Okay, 0.01 is small, means that significant. Reject and hypothesis, there is different satisfaction score in any of the pair. Again, like one-way ANOVA, Kruskal-Wallis also says that if the significant, means that at least one distribution or one median differ to another median. We don't know which median. So, like one-way ANOVA, you have to do pairwise comparison as well, post hoc pairwise comparison. But the problem is that we don't have automated pairwise comparison for the non-parametric test. In parametric test, one-way ANOVA, we can ask for Baffaroni, Chef, Turkey to run for the comparison. But for non-parametric test, you have to do it manually. to get the pairwise comparison of the three groups. Okay, how to do that? Okay, remember for you to do that, you need to rerun 3 Mann-Whitney tests. But of course, consider the type 1 error inflation. Okay, also by Bonferroni approach, even though you don't have Bonferroni menu under this one, but using Bonferroni approach, you need to rerun 3 Mann-Whitney tests, meaning that 3 times you need to compare between two groups, AB, AC, and BC, 3 Mann-Whitney tests, but each test check the inflation of type 1 error. So how to do that? Okay, run the Mann-Whitney test one by one. Okay, of course I show you all the three in single slide. But actually, you have to rerun the Mann-Whitney test 3 times. And each time, get the two groups, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and 2 and 3 like this. Okay. So and for each independent, for each Mann-Whitney test, okay, for each Mann-Whitney test, you need to check the new, what we call it, new p-value or the new alpha. Okay, now let's say for this one, if you want to calculate, decide on the p-value, that must be decided on the what we call corrected p-value. How you correct p-value? The p-value now needs to times 3. Okay, the p-value that you get from the 3 separate Mann-Whitney you test, the p-value needs to times 3. Times 3 first. After that, only you decide whether they are lower than 0.05. That's how you do that. You get the p-value for each of the pairs test, the 3 Mann-Whitney test. The p-value of each of the tests times 3. Why 3? Because you have 3 groups. 3 times you're going to run the test. Times 3, get a new variable, get a new p-value, corrected p-value we call it, or inflated p-value. So our p-value now, for A versus B, okay, still significant, less than 0.05 after corrected. A versus C, also small, 0.006, less than 0.05. But the B versus C pair large, so it's not significant. So only 2 groups are significant. So this is how you get your conclusion. So when you run the pairwise comparison using Bonferroni correction, this is how you get or interpret your p-value. So you interpret your p-value after you do correction. You inflate the p-value and see whether the newly created p-value, see whether they have significant less than 0.05 or not. Okay, then tabulate your result, get the median and the IQR. Cascade you can get from the cascade of the test and then p-value. Okay, this is how you run both table and third interpretation. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we good now. We can finish by on time. Only 5 minutes left before 5. So this how you run the non-parametric test using SPSS, Mann-Whitney, Wilkinson, Sangren, and Kruskal-Wallis. Okay. So you only run this test only when there is skewed data from a small sample. Only when you use this particular test, okay, as alternative from the parametric test. Okay, Mann-Whitney test as alternative for the independent t-test, Wilkinson-Sangren as alternative for the PET t-test, and Kruskal-Wallis for the alternative for one-way ANOVA. Okay, that's all. So that's all I can share you for this particular group of tests, non-parametric tests for this evening. And of course, I think maybe you can get some, of course, some of you may well understand the lecture, and some of you may take time. It's okay. Take time to learn one more, but I review again this recording, learn about my slide that I have shared and try to do your own exercise using SPS dataset that I have shared. Okay? So, but in short, I must say that this particular group of test parameter analysis is very important. As a researcher, this test must be, well, understood by you all, okay, before you go for more further complex tests. Okay. So with that, I thank for your attention. Do you have any, question, burning question, I must say, that you want to ask now? If not, you can ask me later. So, who is your monitor? Is it Edward?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, Edward, please, because can you, check whether all your colleagues in this course
Yeah, all present.
all present, very good. Okay,
Yeah,
very
everyone,
good.
yeah.
Because I'm going to get also some report to be submitted together with my input to the secretariat. So thank you very much for your attendance and attention. I know it's not a good time, petang lagi kan, weekend. But again, because of the COVID time, I cannot see you. But hopefully, maybe in SEM 2, I can see you again face to face if the COVID situation better. With that, again, please rerun my slide and try to your own SPSS analysis running so that you can understand it better. Okay? Okay. Thank you again. Shall we stop our class here now? Okay?
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, Doctor.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Okay. Thank you. Even though I cannot see your one, should be okay lah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.